Okay. Riley here. Um, so I'm going to post this one to YouTube. So I'm going to just go over a couple things real quick. I'm 28 years old. I've been transitioning now for 13 months. I've been on hormones for 9 months, which is why I'm making this video. And I just had my 9-month checkup. It's also just past the holidays, so we have all sorts of good and terrible news to talk about. First things first, 9-month checkup. Things went okay. My estrogen had spiked, so it's too high, so they're cutting me back. So I'm going back from 3 milligrams a day to 2 milligrams a day of estradiol. And my testosterone was still a little too high, so I'm going to 150 milligrams in the morning and at night of Spyro. And other than that, I mean, everything's like really groovy. I'm like super happy with the way things are developing and stuff. I don't have much to complain about there. So, okay, so what happened? I'm not talking to my mom. I kicked her out of my house, told her she wasn't welcome. Uh, Sorry, this is really hard to talk about. She acted really supportive when I came out. She cried. She told me she couldn't believe I was doing that to my children, but then she got over it and she decided to be supportive. So she bought me makeup. She went with me to the store to buy me makeup. Um, she called me Riley, used she her pronouns, and she was always like a little weird about it, but she seemed okay, right? Like whatever. My mom came over to babysit my kids. She came into the house. I told the kids to get ready. For anybody who doesn't know, I have two children. I have a 7-year-old boy named Jude and a 6-year-old girl named Eleanor. And she came in, and I was like, okay, kids, go ahead and get ready. And so they decided to get ready, and Jude sits down to put on his boots, and he has his brand new boots. They're frozen boots, so they have Anna and Elsa on them. And she's like, hey, you don't you want to get on your boots? He's like, these are my boots. And she's like, but your sister has the same boots. And he's like, yeah, I got new boots. And so I already can see that there's like tension. So I'm like, I'll step in. I'm like, yeah, mom. He had his Spider Man boots, but they didn't fit, so we got rid of them. And when we were at the store, there wasn't a lot of options that he liked, but what he did like was the same boots his sister has, because they're frozen boots and they have Anna and Elsa on them. And she was like, oh. I was like, oh, what? Because you think they're girl boots? And she was like, yeah. I'm like, they're not girl boots. Well, boots don't have a gender unless you give them a gender. They're Jude's boots. And besides, you wouldn't think that Jude would want boots from the most popular Disney film out right now? Well, now that Moana's out, but we can talk about that some other time. Anyway. And she was like, ugh, it's just that he didn't do this before. So she's talking about before I came out. Well, to rewind for a second, the truth is that my son wanted to get a dress to put on at 3 years old. We made the decision that that was fine because we weren't going to gender toys in the house. Now, I've only came out to my wife 13 months ago and started transitioning. So 13 months, 7 year or 4 years ago, I don't think that's after I came out. Anyway, so, he asked to wear a dress. We bought him a dress, and he's always worn dresses and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle shirts and whatever he likes. He loves t-shirts and jeans, and he loves the occasional dress. So there's a little bit of back and forth after my mom says, that he didn't do this before, and I explain that, like, that he's been wearing dresses, and she goes, that's because you don't have the guts to tell him no. And I'm like, get the fuck out of my house. And she's like, excuse me? I said, get the fuck out of my house. And she was like, okay, fine. And so she starts walking to the door and then she won't leave. And then she's like trying to she's like, I didn't start this. You started this. I'm like, I don't need you to be influencing my kids like in this negative way. I don't need you to be making them feel guilty for what they want to wear and what they want to do. I was like, get the fuck out of my house. I'm not going to talk about this anymore. And if you don't leave, I will call the cops. She's like, fine, call the cops. I'm like, I do not want to call the cops on my mother. And I grab the phone and I start dialing it and she leaves. So after everybody calms down and stuff, I write her an email after talking to the therapist and stuff. Thought this would be the best idea. So I write her an email. And in the email, I say, I'm really sorry for yelling and screaming at you about this. You know, it's inappropriate. It's not acceptable to do, especially not around my children. However, that being said, you need to understand these things. We do not subscribe to gender roles in this family. Things that Jude wears are boys if he's a boy. And if he ever comes out as transgender, it's not because of me. It's because of it's because that's the way he was born. And maybe because he sees me, he's inspired to do it, and maybe not. Chances are he'll probably be a cisgender person, but it doesn't matter. And she doesn't get it. And she followed up that email with another nasty email by stating stuff like Jude has, my son had speech impediments when he was younger. That his speech impediment started because we had my daughter and we only paid attention to my daughter, and the only thing Jude knows is estrogen. And we've never had a male figure in his life, even though I was a really manly man before I came out, like a lot of us are. Like, I did everything I could to be the perfect guy. Anyway, it's really frustrating. And then on the flip side of that coin, my wife's conservative family has been really, really accepting. They were really terrible to us at first. When I came out to them, they cut us off for 30 days. They told us they weren't going to talk to us until they could figure things out. And then we went to sit down with them at dinner, and they were going to tell us that they wanted to cancel family vacation plans that are this year. And after talking to me for 5 minutes, they realized that the thing that most people realize, that I'm the exact same person, and I just go by Riley, and I use she, her pronouns now. It's not a big deal for most people. For my wife and my kids, it is a big deal. There's a lot of changes in this household, but that's okay. So they realized, they accepted me. We have family plans this year, but then comes Christmas time, and everything was fantastic for Christmas. They changed my name on their stocking. They got me in the stocking. They put like dry shampoo and like a manicure kit and a really nice scarf. And they got me, my wife, and my sister-in-law, who's like 12 years younger than me. We got all of us scarves and all of us dry shampoo, and we all got the same thing. And I was treated like a girl, like one of her daughters. Like, I was Molly's sister, you know? It wasn't a big thing. And Katie looks at me and she says, you know what the best part about you becoming a woman is that you made Christmas gifts really easy. And I thought that was really fun and kind of innocent. So anyway, it's been like a really crazy holiday. Somebody else who really impacted us was Becca's grandpa. He decided that he wants to help me out with my college expenses. And this upcoming semester, I have to start programming in iOS, and I needed a Mac in order to do so. And according to the school and according to what I talked to with the Apple people, I needed like a newer Mac. And so we were going to be able to do it out of my student loans, but upon hearing about it, we didn't even ask. Becca's grandpa offered to buy me a Mac. And so here's my step grandpa in law. And he bought me a $1,300 computer just so I could do school on it. And that was really amazing. So this year's definitely been like a lot more positives than negatives. And this year's been really amazing. From April when I came out publicly on Facebook to October when I came out at work to today, everything's been fantastic. And I'm like really looking forward to a really awesome 2017. Some goals in mind. I mean, these aren't resolutions, but some goals that I have. My court date for my name change is this Friday, January 6th. I had a motion to file for exemption from publicating my name in a newspaper, and it was approved. So I think I'll get my final decree at this hearing. And if I can walk away with one copy, I'll immediately go to the DMV and Social Security Administration to update my name and gender. on those documents. In the state of Colorado, you don't need to have any surgeries. You just need to have a letter from the physician, the same letter that you need for the Social Security Administration, in order to change your gender marker. So I'll be doing that hopefully this week. If they can't give me a copy right away because I don't really know how it works, and they have to like mail it or whatever, I will take care of it the second I get it. So name change is coming up. That's awesome. I want to get that taken care of. As soon as I get my name change done, I'm going to change all of my documents, and hopefully can be done with that before like February, March. And then I'm going to be starting electrolysis this year, and uh, um, and I'm going to set aside some money for future surgeries. So I think that's everything. For a 9 month checkup for HRT, it's been pretty big. I'm looking forward to April 5th for 1 year on hormones. And this is Riley signing off. Bye.